You guys were the defending champs at the time, the Golden State Warriors of that era.
They're still doing this, right? Like, we didn't see them in scouting, nothing like that, heard nothing. I was like, what is going on?
That Tony Soprano shot was in like day 2, day 1.
I'm pretty sure that we are the only 4 birders on the planet who can say that 2 different TV production companies were like fighting over us for a hot second. I'm Dan.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Chapman.
I'm Evan.
We are Avian Avarice.
Wow, what's going on, everybody?
What's
Hey,
up,
how
guys?
are ya?
Going.
Well, gentlemen, we are 6 of us together tonight here to talk a little bit about 4 years ago, July of 2022, we were on Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel, which was a spectacular experience. And the 2 gentlemen that are joining us tonight were hugely responsible for that. And I'm just going to let them tell us a little bit about how we ended up getting invited to be on the show.
My name is Chapman Downs, and I produced the story about the World Series of Birding.
And I'm Evan Burgos, and I was a co-producer on the story with Chapman.
So we at Real Sports, we would have weekly pitch meetings, and whoever was not out on the road shooting would be there, and we would pitch ideas. And one of our colleagues at the time pitched, I think he read an article in Audubon magazine. Is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that about
Is that a
competitive
publication?
birding. Yeah, he pitched. He read a story about competitive birding, and he was busy doing something. But our boss, the executive producer, really liked the idea, and so he asked me to look into it. And Evan and I started looking. He asked me and Evan to start looking into it, and we realized that the World Series of competitive birding was coming up soon, and we thought that that could be a great narrative device to kind of tell the story about a group of people, the best people on the planet, who are super passionate about birding. And so Evan and I got to work doing research and talking to as many of you guys as possible and figuring out how we were going to cast it. And and then we moved forward.
Wow. So why did you choose us?
Well, I reached out to you a couple of times. I think Evan and I, there were 16 teams, right? There were 16 teams the year that we did it. And we talked to everyone.
Pretty much everyone, yeah. We
pretty
called
much
everybody.
everyone. I talked to you guys. You were on my list. And, you guys were the defending champs at the time, the Golden State Warriors of that era, back to back. You guys were going, I think, for the three-peat after COVID and the year after. And we're super interesting and super passionate. And, the more people we talked to, it became evident that you guys should be one of the 4 or 5 teams that we focus on. Evan focused on or talked to Mark and Ken from 1,000 Birds. He can talk to you about that. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious you guys had to be included.
Yeah, I mean, just like you guys are scanning the state for bird species, we're scanning the field of competitors for people who make for compelling storytellers themselves. Who can we tell the story through? So just as you guys are plotting all of your coordinates and species, we're doing the same exact thing in our own little way.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember I was in the, I think you called me, Chapman. I don't know. There was emails too, but I feel like at some point there was actually a phone call, and I was.
Oh yeah, we talked 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. I was in the teacher's room at school, and I looked at my phone, and like I usually I don't pick up numbers I don't know most of the time, and I looked at it, and I was like, "What is this?" And I answered it, and last thing I thought I was going to hear was like, "Oh, I'm a producer at HBO." Like, okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and right, like I thought it was a spam call at first, and then I was like, this is not a spam call. And then I don't know if you remember this or not, but I don't want to get into details for someone else's sake, but we believe the 4 of us, believe it or not, were actually we had actually signed essentially like a non-compete clause kind of a thing with another TV company that was going to produce a TV show. And that show was not made, but I'm like, is this like a problem? So I forget who talked to who and whose legal department exactly, whatever. But they were like, yeah, this is fine, you can do it. But we actually there's a lot of birders on YouTube, right? There's a lot of really good birders out there. I'm pretty sure that we are the only 4 birders on the planet who can say that 2 different TV production companies were like fighting over us for a hot second, which was really kind of funny to have to deal with that.
I remember that. And I'm glad that it was pretty late in the game that you guys, you let me know that it wasn't going to be a problem, that we could go ahead.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that. That's a story that either you told me that, Chapman, I might have forgotten it, or maybe I never realized it. We weren't truly worried about it. But that's an interesting wrinkle, and it speaks to how these stories, man, everybody's a bit like, who would have thought we've been competing for your the big booking.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. So if you guys could just tell us a little bit about, like, how did you set up your side? Like, how did you decide what we needed to film initially? And then, we could talk a little bit about what it was like that week to film the stuff during Scout Week. And, how did you decide Ariel was going to be the host? Like, how does all that stuff get worked out?
Yeah, I mean,
you want to go?
Yeah, sure. I think we looked at the filming in 2 distinct pods. One is, okay, we have this big 24-hour marathon to produce and get through, which is going to be its own bottleneck challenge of a shoot, which it was. And probably, I think Chapman and I, one of the most whimsical, funny, amazing, delirious experiences of our freaking lives. and just totally memorable in every single way. And then the rest is, okay, what else do we need to do to tell the true story? Because it really isn't enough just to follow you guys for 24 hours. That really wouldn't capture the whole enchilada. So I think we thought of it in that way. And as far as Ariel goes, that was his first piece on the show. Chap, do you want to talk about Ariel a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that was the first piece, and we needed somebody who was going to be willing to stay up all night and do whatever we needed. And he was totally game. And I think he worked out really well, and just his dry wit and, just the way he connected with you guys. And, the coolest part about it was that it really became, in addition to understanding and talking about your passion for this sport, was that it was all present tense. Like, if you go back and watch the story, there wasn't any backstory in the piece at all. It was all about the event and why you guys love doing this, which I never would have thought. I thought, I think going in, I thought that we would have talked about how you guys got into it. We did a little of the preparation. We filmed with you guys scouting and preparing, but that was all in service of the big day, the big event.
For sure.
So that was really cool. I mean, I think the hardest part for us was just, once we figured out who we were going to focus on, the 4 or 5 teams, outfitting the cars with all of the gear. I mean, we had, I think, 4 or 5 GoPros in four different cars, and they come with lights and batteries. Evan and I split up. And
we had 4 different crews. We had 2 12-hour shifts. The first 12 hours, we had 1 camera crew. Then we met at Bon Jovi rest stop. Swapped in the new crew. Of course, Chapman and I are pulling double duty, going 24 hours straight. I got a nap in from Bon Jovi down to the first stop once we got kind of downstate.
I remember Dan was asked a question about, I think it was something along the lines of, is this a sport? Or however he worded it. And Dan's like, well, we walk 11 miles, we're up for 24 hours. How many people could actually endure that? And I know that we tired you guys out to a point where you were rotating crews and we were just good the whole time. And it was very hard to hang.
Evan and I hung. We did all 24.
I know you guys did.
It was the crews we had to break. But,
right.
We often yes, your stamina is super impressive. But on our show,
right,
we would always try to look at stories that we thought were really interesting and kind of find a sports connection right?
Yeah.
Like birding is not really about. It's like it does take stamina, and you guys are moving a lot, but it was
and competing for a victory,
and competing.
Right.
So it was enough of a sports. There was enough of a sports connection for us. But we certainly, I don't know if we would really. Yeah, it's not like a traditional sport.
Well, and you guys do yourself a good favor by calling it the World Series of Birding. That's good branding. That gives us something immediately that we can convey to the audience, and they know in a second what we're really up to here. It's the championship of birding. Let's go.
Yeah,
and I also think that, like, the stamina that it takes for the guys to shoot the stuff, the DPs are holding these big cameras and really locked in and capturing all the audio. You're washed after 12. I mean, that 12 hours straight and driving and being awake. I mean, it really was a huge physical challenge, but it was hilariously fun. And the result of that is, I don't know, call it 60 some hours of footage, because we have multiple we didn't roll 24 hours straight on everything, but we had dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of footage.
Simon told me it was 80 after the shoot.
Yeah, I think we did count it up at some point, so that's accurate. If we had 80 hours, then that's what we had.
Yeah, like your car was recording all 24 hours.
Yeah.
Cars, a couple other cars were too, and so we had to then go back and find all of these little moments and log that stuff, so that when we did the sit-down interview with you afterwards, we could then talk about it and then roll that in the piece, right?
I should interject here. I'll tell the story quickly because it's actually in another one of our episodes. But there's a shot of me eating a drumstick.
Yeah.
And every single time somebody watches it.
Bathroom breaks are for the week.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
They always talk about it.
Yeah, we had you eating a lot of different things, but if we were obviously going to put in on of you the shot of eating a bird.
Exactly. That's what I was like, you eat a bird? I'm like, yeah, like it tastes good, like whatever. I had to do it.
My favorite shot.
Chickens don't count. Yeah. Chickens don't count in the competition anyway.
Yeah.
The great shot though was either right before or right after that when you guys, all four of you, take out the binoculars. It was amazing.
Like the thumbnail. Like the starting thumbnail for the video.
title card, exactly.
Yeah.
That it's one of my favorite visual punchlines. The piece has a lot of written puns and spoken puns from Ariel and dry humor moments, but that is just a visual pun. Like, it's hilarious. It's incredible. It's a gift from you guys to the piece, honestly. And it wouldn't be possible if that camera just wasn't rolling for 24 hours and we just happened to have it, because that was unmanned and unsupervised. Right. We just had it in there.
The very first thing that happens before the competition even starts is we're up in some North Jersey gas station, and there is that pillar that goes beyond the pump. And literally before the competition even starts, I ram right into that thing because I cannot see it at all. It's dark. There's no lights. And I'm like, great. This is like the night that we got the whole film crew here, and I've never had an accident ever. And I rip off like the side fascia of my vehicle first stop. And I'm like, and then they got to follow me for 24 hours. What's going through their minds in the back there?
I didn't know that because I was with the 1,000 Birds, so I didn't know that.
But Rob, let's back up a second. So just to set the stage, the couple days before when we filmed at High Point, you didn't make it. Just recall that real quick for these guys. I don't know if they know the whole story.
Well, so yes, we were supposed to do some filming at High Point. I have to take New Jersey Turnpike, and shout out to my Australian make vehicle for having a sensor, because some tractor trailer flicked up something. My whole car starts moving me over, and about a softball piece of metal comes flying through my windshield and was like that far away from my head. So I never made it to that free whatever shoot. I'm like, guys, I made it halfway down the turnpike, halfway up the turnpike. Got to turn around. I'm sorry. I'm going to replace this windshield in hopes of being ready for the competition when we actually have to do it.
Wow, thank God you were all right. I did a story about somebody who got blinded by that happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild, Rob. Wow. So lucky for you, good things, bad things did not come in threes with the car.
Yeah.
Just had a couple incidents.
The one scene that we had in at one cut, Evan and I had in one cut that didn't make it, was when we rolled into that was it that
a gas station or something?
It was a gas
Dairy Queen?
The bear.
Dairy Queen.
Oh yeah.
The
And
bear.
bear-
Forgot about that.
there was a bear eating out of the trash.
Yeah, the bear didn't make the cut, but we had it in. But it didn't make it.
I'm pretty sure there may have been two. And I fly out of the vehicle because we're immediately having to go to the one station. And I remember Chapman calling out, Dan, there's a bear. And I'm not even sure if Dan had a chance to respond yet. I went, yeah, don't bother it. Won't bother you. We're already like making for the march. Like, we're good to go.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, you guys cared more than we did.
Yeah, just a black bear. They're not. They're not.
Yeah,
that
they're
dangerous.
fine.
We're like, yeah, get out of the way. We got to look for birds.
Yeah, wow, that's funny, guys.
What was the toughest part for you guys, or what is the toughest part for you guys?
Can I answer for Dan? Hearing a ruffed grouse. Apparently, that's Dan's.
I'm going to tell my side of the story here because there is my side of the story exists. We're at Cooser Bog, and these guys are like, "Hey, we hear the grouse." That's like the only reason we're there. And I forget who it was. If it was Rob or Justin, goes, "It's right there." So my view of "it's right there" is 10 feet away, and the bird was not anywhere close to 10 feet away. So I'm queuing in on like the birds that I'm hearing nearby, and I don't hear it. And they're like, "There just went again. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I'm listening to all the stuff that's here, and I don't hear it at all. And when I finally hear this thing, it had to be 150 feet away, right? Which, whatever you want to call it, it was not what I was expecting. And that's a thing in birding. Like, you see what you expect a lot of times. Like, you don't, like, if you're not listening to everything around you, you miss things that you're not keyed in on. And I was not listening at the right distance, frequency, whatever, and like just didn't hear it. I eventually did. They, of course, they're telling me I need hearing aids and I should get my hearing tested and blah, 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 blah. For like, to this day, it's 4 years, I'm still having to hear it, but whatever.
Yeah. So certainly, I think more to the point of just missing any, like, a bird, Dan speaks to the point of, like, really, it's very hard to truly be focused at all things at all times. That is always a challenge on this competition, keeping yourself, your acuity high enough and actually truly listening. Because the big thing that happens is you hear one thing, your mind is immediately trying to narrow down that one thing and identify it instantly, while you're missing 3 or 4 other things that are happening simultaneously. And that's part of the benefit of having a team. Like, people can hopefully be queuing on at different things at the same time. And then it's also just literally staying awake. The travel portion of this usually has most teams, if they're doing the full state, having a big gap in the middle time-wise. And that is like just the perfect lull of like warm car and, bumps on the highway. And like, it's hard. It's just genuinely hard to stay awake and stay alert.
Yeah. Starting in the marsh, I thought was a very cool scene. I was with you guys, and Evan was with Mark and Ken, just a couple hundred yards away.
Yeah.
Did you guys do that every year?
We did that for a couple of years. We haven't gone there, I don't know, maybe since then.
Yeah,
I
think since then.
Yeah.
At all? You haven't gone there at all.
I don't know if we have.
I don't think we have.
No.
We've hit similar territories of like biome, but like not that specific location. Because that, speaking to like things that are difficult, the biggest thing is usually coming up with a route, and part of what you have to figure out is like, what birds available and the time commitment. And so that's a great location to start, but there's like a big hike in, big hike out, like you lose a lot of time, so it becomes a difficult thing to do.
Yeah. Return on investment was low, potentially.
Yeah.
Essentially. I feel
Well
like we go
said.
back and forth on that place.
Yeah.
That was actually, you bring that up. That was really fascinating for me to know that the two teams were being filmed like right next to each other. And like on film, of course, it doesn't look like that at all. Like, it looks like, we're in two different places or whatever. But like, that was a really interesting aspect of this. And then again, like, there's a beach scene in Cape May where we like run down onto the beach, and like you resequenced that, because I remember very vividly, like, we were on the beach first, then Mark and Ken came down and they left, and then we left after them, and like that was all different because of the story that was being told, which
TV
was
magic.
I forgot that. Mark,
I forgot that too.
He shut us down on the beach.
Yeah, he did. Mark shut us down.
There was
Which ended up being better than getting the interview.
It was great.
Yeah, it's a better moment for the
And
piece.
you know what else is funny too is the next morning, of course, we talked at the breakfast, and he told me a bird that they missed. We got right there at that moment. I think it was a ruddy turnstone, and like they were so sure that they couldn't see anything that they left, and the fact that we lingered a few minutes and looked around a little more, we got that bird. And I think we got it while they were on the beach, and like obviously we didn't like, hey guys, like you just see this thing,
Right.
So I don't think I told him that the next day, but like he was right there, and they missed it.
Wow.
Right, but the reverse has happened too. Remember the black-necked stilt at Forsyth? He got it, and we were right there, and we missed it, and he got it. I mean, that's just that's how this goes. And
Right.
the other thing, there's so many places that if you know what you're doing in this competition, you're bottlenecked. There's a couple of spots that you inevitably run into people the whole time. And imagine you have the whole state. I know it's not a big state, but it's still a big area to cover. And you run into teams because you all know where to be and when, to some extent. And you tweak the routes other than that. But, you always bang into people. It's kind of a reassurance, You see other teams, you're like, oh, I guess I'm in the right spot. It's like a nice little part of the competition.
Yeah, I'm in the right spot, or we're all doing way bad.
Yeah, right.
Also,
how are the Ivy League?
to this where it's there's a camaraderie that develops between the different teams, and like I'm curious to know what Andrew has to say about this. But like when we saw his team at Forsyth this year, like it was a lot of fun. Like we got to talk to him for just a couple minutes, and like, how you doing, guys? And it's like it's encouraging to see him out there doing that, even though he's on a new team, and all the other teams too. Like it's cool to see them out there, and you feel like, hey, we're all doing this together, even though we're trying to beat you. It's part of the experience.
At Brig, it was really cool to see you all at Forsyth and like kind of coming up on the same spots. I totally agree. But I remember it was really weird in 2024, I think it was, where we didn't see you guys at all. And I was like, they're still doing this, right? Like we didn't see them scouting, nothing like that, heard nothing. I was like, what is going on? And that was when they tried the fabled south to north route, which I think in the right year will be a winning strategy. But I just remember hearing that you guys did that. I was like, they're not even at the awards brunch. What's going on? And then Dan told me, and I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense now.
Well, I thought everybody had to report their score in Cape May regardless. Is that still not?
It used to be that way, but now that we have an electronic submission, you could be anywhere.
Oh,
and
interesting.
Tradition and common sense says that you should end in Cape May, but 3 years ago, we tried going backwards, and it was really interesting.
Why not? Yeah, why not give it a go? Just as an outsider who's just an admirer of the competition, I kind of like, from a sport, we were talking about what makes it a sport, from a sporting point of view, this quote unquote finish line, the physical finish line of being there is a nice feature from that point of view, I think. But I totally get that, going.
I miss that because it used to be a paper checklist and you had to physically hand it in.
It's really cool.
And there were judges sitting at a table, and certain birds, if you saw something that was a little off the wall, you had to write a written report to explain like how to justify that you got it. Yeah. And then hand that in. They would interview you and ask like, okay, well, what is it? How did you know it wasn't this bird? And we kind of lost that when it went digital, which I kind of miss. But
I thought this whole piece that you guys have done was super fun, because to me it's like there's something like just deeply satirical about the whole thing. It's like we're on a sports show. All of us played sports growing up. This is different, but like it's still a competition, still enjoyable. And so it's just nice to have, again, that window of like, hey, this is our lives, this is what we do, and to maybe bridge to an audience that would have no idea what this was or have an interest in it, but now might. And that was great.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you did that, or if you did like a documentary on it, like there's so many different things that you could get into. Like Evan and I even discussed with you, Dan, like, starting the piece. Do we start the piece with Dan going to school in the morning? He's about to start the longest day of his life. When he gets done here teaching kids, he's off to watch birds for the next 24 hours. You could. There was our piece was 15 minutes. You could do a lot more. It was so much fun.
It's a fascinating world.
So I have like a inconsequential confession I have to make to Chapman and Evan here. So there was one day where, Chapman, you called me up. I was at work, and it was after the event was over, and you said, hey, we're trying to put together some B-roll, and we've got the scene with Princeton and Cornell in the Meadowlands.
Yeah.
And they're we're going to want to talk about some of the birds that they're scouting. So I got video of a mallard and a great egret, and I forget what the third bird was. And in my head, immediately my thought was, those are like the 3 most common birds ever. No one would ever scout for them for even 2 seconds, ever. And then I thought, oh, wait a minute, Cornell and the other guys that beat us are going to be the ones scouting for them? Hey, Chapman, sounds great. Put those in there.
Amazing.
Do you want to hear what you screwed up on?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Definitely.
All right, I'm going to open this up to the floor because I remember a few. What were the bird errors that were in this video?
Maybe let's stick to one, maybe.
Yeah, pick your favorite only one that exists.
You can pick it, Dan.
Well, I think the one that we all picked up on, which is like really inconsequential, but the scene where Ariel is talking about like birds migrating up and down like commuters on the turnpike, and there's a shot of some geese.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Those are barnacle geese from Europe, and no one has ever seen one on the World Series of Birding. So that was fun.
Tough one.
Like the average person would never know that.
I think my favorite creative flourish in the piece, and I think Chap may agree, is the Tony Soprano shot with the duck in the pool. I mean, that's made for TV. We dialed that thing right up. We had it. Our great editor, James Pilot, came up with that concept, actually. He dug that out, dropped it in. It was chef's kiss. It was never coming out. That Tony Soprano shot was in like day 2, day 1. And survived the whole 2 weeks of editing. That was never a doubt.
No, but we had to play up the contrast between the swamps, smokestacks, and mafia bosses, right?
Incredible.
The beauty of birds and deciduous forests and just, I mean, most people would have no idea that New Jersey is one of the great places to go birding.
Hey, I got news for you, Chapman. People who live in New Jersey have no idea.
Right.
I mean,
That was the other thing. When you would stop, especially in northern New Jersey, and go into some of the forests and places that you guys were looking for birds, you guys would really go in there, and it was not like, sometimes it was just jump out of the car and see something, but I mean, you guys would go in for a while, and before coming out.
Yeah, there's just different territories, different things, and some of it is like you're just having to sit there and listen. You got to get deep enough and far away from noises to actually be able to hear what's around. So,
how often are you guys able to get a bird to announce itself?
I think it depends on the species, Like some are more prone to respond than others.
and sometimes just making any sound, some birds will alarm call.
Hello, my name's Rob Scher, and I'm the commander of Cuckoo. I did probably the worst yellow-billed cuckoo call impression ever, and within 3 seconds one answered back, so we got it.
And it's still called back for whatever reason. Like, didn't sound anything like it, but like it works,
I gotta tell you guys, it was a kind of a funny experience for me. 3 weeks after the piece aired, I was in Ramsey going to a taco place, and somebody actually walked up to me and was like, "You were on Real Sports," and I was like,
"That's fantastic."
That's great.
The only time it's ever happened to me in my entire life, but I was like shocked that somebody.
15 minutes of fame, dude. People watch. People watch.
Yeah.
We used to get 1 million viewers.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
So,
And, not to get too far off topic, but I had never really watched Real Sports before this, and after I watched a bunch of episodes, and I gotta tell you, it was a great show. Really, like some of the stuff that you guys covered collectively, and some of the footage was, some of it was really amazing. But the premise of the show and the different angles on all of these different unusual and extreme events, some of the stuff was really, really cool. I mean, I just to applaud you and your work and the other people that you guys worked with. It was really a great production.
well, that's very kind of you. We were very lucky we were there for a long time, and the show was amazing because of a lot of people, and it still should be on the air if not for these awful people who own the company.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching the show. The show debuted in 1995. Chapman hired me when I was about 27 years old or something. I ended up doing 9 years there myself. I actually, I think the breadth of the show is really cool. We had all this space to do different genres. We had investigative stories. We had these big global, stories. We had these, enterprise stories, good characters, fun profiles. In my time there in 9 years, not only did I cover the World Series of Birding, I also did a piece on illegal cockfighting in the United States and went to some really interesting places, and also did a story about falconry at one point too. And there's a couple falconry pieces in the show's history. So
and Evan's being a little modest. The last piece of his career in November of 23, he won an Emmy for an investigative report where he went to Ukraine to do a story about the death of sport in Ukraine.
Yeah, pretty sad piece.
During the war, at the height of the war.
Eesh.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's just honestly Chapman's being modest himself, the amount of amazing places Chapman's gone. One of the more interesting animal pieces the chap did was one of the great all-time television news pieces that anyone will ever see and won a Peabody Award, was for the illegal hunting and ivory poaching of large animals in Africa, elephants and things like that. I mean, we're talking some seriously hefty projects that we're all really proud of and worked really hard on, but took literal physical risks to go do. Chapman witnessed them. You should send them the elephant piece. You guys will quite literally.
But this was as fun, honestly. But Evan,
grab yourself.
Thanks, Ev. But this was as fun as anything we'd ever done. Seriously.
Exactly. That was going to be the next
We were
breath.
really lucky to the best part of our jobs was, we traveled all over the world, and it was always the places we went and the people we got to meet. And it was the exact same with this piece. You guys were so much fun. Mark and Ken were great too. And yeah, it was, I learned so much. I had no idea. Like you were talking earlier, Justin, I had no idea that, New Jersey was this incredible place to go birding, and there were these teams driving all over the place, looking at birds, identifying birds. And I play bird sounds all the time in my apartment now.
I got the Merlin app on my phone.
One of our close friends, Evan was going to mention his book. You guys know Ryan Goldberg. He was on the show.
Plug.
Bird City. He wrote a book he's a huge birder.
Mm-hmm.
Unofficial consultant on the piece. We made sure it passed his sniff test for the most part. He gave us a little pat on the back.
Yeah.
We did a book review on it not too long ago. We
love that.
Good.
Love that.
So
yeah, I mean, Chat. We've done, not only have Chapman and I worked on a number of projects together. We don't rarely text about other pieces. This is the story we talk about the most.
I'm in Central Park all the time, and I will text, if I see hawks or whatever, I will say, and there are big groups out there, and they're all looking up, and I'll
shout out Ariel too. I mean, he's always been extremely. I mean, when we text about the pieces, the three of us were chit-chatting all the time about it. We stay completely in touch and follow along.
Good.
It's awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Ariel's a gem, and by the way, once upon a time, before he became the Ara Hawani we all know, who's got a huge following, he was an intern at HBO Sports for a summer while in college, and he's been part of the family ever since. And he couldn't be any more genuine in his reverence, and for the whole thing.
Yeah, he loved the piece. And
he was he loved the piece. Oh my god! So
I even asked him when we were at Coosier Bog, the place where Dan can't hear rough grouse, and we were in that parking lot, and we were sitting on his tailgate, and he came up and he started asking questions, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, he has no notepad, he has nothing written down.
Yeah, he prides
and
himself.
I asked him, and I didn't know that it was his first time, and I looked at him like, you don't like, I figured you're interviewing, you're going to have like some type of notebook type of thing. He's like, no, man, I just go with the flow and, feed off of you guys. And I was like, wow, like this guy's in his element. It's perfect. And it's not even an interview with him. It was just like, just a conversation.
He would appreciate that a lot. He'd appreciate that a lot, wouldn't he, Chap?
Yeah. He was.
But he studied his butt off of that.
Rob, Andrew, and Justin didn't get a chance to see, but then, after the event, we were at Great Swamp to film. I think I was there for almost 2 hours doing the question and answer with Ariel. And that was a really cool experience. Just like Justin's saying, he was just firing off these questions. Like he knew what he wanted to, all these different angles. And it was cool to see which ones made the final cut and which ones didn't. But it was really fun to get interviewed by him. And it felt like, and I'm not saying he's being facetious, it felt like he was really interested in what he was asking and what I was saying, as opposed to I just got to ask these questions to get the footage.
Yeah. Chapman Evan, did Dan tell you that he did not tell me what the hell was going on tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're going to be, he told you?
Yeah. We were in on it.
Oh, you suck, Dan. I mean, seriously, are you freaking kidding me? Anyway, I was trying to bring it down to like a narrowing, to a point where I'm like, Evan, Chapman, it was an absolute pleasure to see you guys, man.
Thanks.
Did not expect it. What an awesome, just awesome. I feel privileged to talk to you guys. I really do. The experience will never leave my mind. It was awesome. I didn't know I'd ever talk to you guys again. This was awesome. Awesome. Dan outdid himself, screwing me over. I'm sorry.
Super generous.
Yeah.
It's completely mutual. Likewise.
I go back and watch. I go back and watch the piece every now and then. It's just, it always brings a big smile on my face.
Me too.
Yeah. It was very exciting as a participant too. It was hearing from Dan. I'm like, oh wait, we've got who and who, and they're producers from where, and and then I'm trying to drive up and not get killed on the turnpike, and I'm like, wait, we got the MMA guy is interviewing us? What is happening here? This is amazing. It was just such a wild ride.
And the other thing for me is the MMA guy was like, yes, absolutely, this is a real sport. And I was like, you know what? Hell yeah.
Yeah, it may have been tongue in cheek, but we took it.
And it's been really nice keeping in touch with Dan. There are a bunch of people that I've kept in touch with over the years that, stories that I've reported on. And that's also another gift, it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad, it's kind of remarkable to me to have you guys as a contact that I could just text Chapman and be like, hey, let's put together a reunion. Are you down for that? It's cool that, I don't know. You guys probably don't view yourselves as anything special, but to us, you're like, wow, this is like celebrity status here. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool that we get to interact with you guys.
That's just if it's more important. But it's cool. It's nice to stay in touch.
To Dan's point, kind of in the production, aspect of this was, we know what we did. We have no idea kind of exactly what you guys shot. We kind of saw you the whole time, but to kind of see what eventually became from what happened to whatever happened on the cutting room floor to final product was just so cool for us to kind of see what it became.
Yeah, totally. It's a labor of love. I mean, there's an old cliche about kind of storytelling. It's you tell a story 3 times. You tell it when you shoot it, you tell it when you write it, and you tell it when you edit it, because you're always adjusting around what the thing is becoming, about what you have and what you've captured and what's working and technically speaking and all that stuff. So, it would take us, we would budget usually 7 days or something to cut a piece, something like that. And a lot of those days, they go till 1 a.m. Now for this piece, I don't think we did full overtime stuff. We go late at night. These are long slogs in the room, total labor of love. And in some ways, it's the most tedious part of the process is doing the editing. But once it all comes together, it's very, very gratifying and rewarding to have something tangible that you share with people that they engage with is the payoff. It's why we do it.
Yeah, it was a real joy. It was a ton of fun, and Evan and I talk, and Ariel talk every spring about. And we call you and text you. Night
Good
of,
luck.
evening of.
Yep.
We wish we were back out there. Maybe we'll do round 2 one of these
Hey,
days.
anytime.
Dude.
One of these days we got to go over to Central Park and meet up with you and just,
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I want to thank Andrew, Chapman, and Evan for joining us tonight. Andrew, it's been a pleasure to compete against you for the most part. And we look forward to seeing you on the CBC this year. And
Yes.
Evan and Chapman, I can't thank you enough for coming out and for doing this with us, for taking a walk down memory lane, for reminiscing. We really enjoyed the opportunity you gave us, and we certainly enjoyed talking to you tonight.
Pleasure was all
Likewise.
mine.
Likewise.
Thank you guys. Thank you
Thank
for
you for having me
all
back.
the memories, honestly. Pleasure is all ours. Happy birding.